and it's cold outside. So sometimes as car people, fabricators, builders, creators, we pick up things along the way. Things we've been looking to get, things we get a hold of. Then we got to decide what to do with them. So I'm in that situation. I've found something interesting. At least I found it interesting. I'll see what y'all think maybe we should do with it. It might be good for some content for the channel, maybe not, but anything can be a possibility when you're doing creative things. And this thing's going to need a little fab work and a little repair work if I go ahead and fix it. So let me show you what I have and see what you think.
A 1947 8N Ford tractor. It's never been painted. It's spent most of its life outside. It's mostly intact. It does have some pretty bad rust on the hood, but that's typical of these. Same with the fenders. One of the amazing things was it still had its headlights on it, and it still has its little mountain bosses. Somebody has converted it to 12 volt at some point. The gentleman used it in his garden for years and years and years near one of these tourist farms, as they call them, near where I live. And I'd seen it sitting back there for some time, and I went and looked at it and went ahead and got it. Now, two things I've noticed that are a little scary, but so far aren't a big deal. It's missing a dipstick out of the rear case, which is where your hydraulic fluid is. Air tube's missing. The manifold doesn't seem to be rusted out, but I can't get my hands all the way back there. They like to rust there. Front of the motor's oily. I don't know that it's ever been rebuilt. Motor does roll over by hand. I haven't tried to put electricity to it yet. And all the pedals work. The clutch doesn't appear to be stuck. Everything moves. Same with the brakes. The spring's messing, but the brakes work. It has had the Ford truck drum conversion done to it so that you can put regular Ford truck wheels on it. It's missing a dust cap on this side. The steering rods are going to need to be replaced. They're bent and worn. This one's in pretty good shape. The one on the other side's shot. This radius rod's bent. They probably bumped it into something at some point. And with the front end out like this, it doesn't take much to bend them. She sit wide for middle busters. There's a little bit of play in this pitman arm, which that's still available, but I got to find out if it's a shimming issue or if the pitman arm's actually worn. It is showing some leakage around the seals on the axle shafts. It's the original rims. I don't know if they're original to the tractor or not. It is the Ford stamped hood. It doesn't have the Ford stamped fenders. This side of the hood's been, repaired as needed to remain functional. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's got an old truck tire on this side. And this steering shaft, as you can see, has seen better days. But the pitman arm's good on this side. Everything else seems to be functioning. I've had people over the years tell me these 8Ns are not 4-speeds, but they are. And the letters hide up in here. I don't know if I can get the phone down there good enough for you to see it, but here's the R for reverse. There's what's left of the 4th gear indicator. And then there's a strange pattern. First is right there. Now if you notice down here, you got 2 and 3. So what you got is first gear is up and to the right, second gear is back and to the left, then third is back and to the right, and fourth is straight ahead. Because the real deal is, it's technically a 3-speed with an overdrive for highway traveling. 4th gear is not really for pulling on these things. This is a ball out of one of the lift arms. This is sit out here and got a few leaves on it with wintertime coming in. Some of these leaves were already on it though, like these ones up in here. Back over on the right side, the up and down hydraulic lever works. The draft control lever moves. Doesn't look like anybody's messed with the screw. I don't think it's ever been painted. This arm's been replaced. They didn't put the pin all the way back in it. And they robbed the lift arm off of this side and the adjuster off of that side, the level adjuster. Grill's sitting on the hood. It's not perfect by any means, but for what I got and the deal I made getting it, I should say, it's in pretty good shape. Now the question is, should I resurrect it or recycle it? part it, or is it possibilities? Should it live again and work in my garden? Put a cutter behind it and mow my grass with it. Use it to move heavy things around the shop. You know, there's lots of potential there. Let me get back around this side here. We got a little bit of rust on this fender, but that's typical. That'd be a good video for later. Maybe I'll rebuild these fenders rather than replace them if I fix this thing. She's leaking out the back a little bit. This bolt's out because somebody took the chain off of this side when they took the lift arm off. It's even got the backup light on it, backup work light, whichever you want to call it, with the correct bracketing, and another one of those little aluminum Ford mountain bosses. That's how you know it's a real one, is when it's got the little Art Deco looking wing to match the front. And it could have had one on this side too, because it's got the bracket over here for it as well. So that's what we got. That's going to be about it for today. Now here's something I never seen anybody do before. Somebody actually welded brackets to the seat to put a seat back on it, and the wood's done rotted away. But there it is, and I got that middle buster up there in the package deal with it and a few other implements. Let me know what you think. I think we may try to fix it. I think we may just use it for parts. But there it is, and like all of these, it's missing its hood emblem. But considering it's never been painted, I don't think, and it's been sitting outside all these years, it's held up well. So there we have it. That's about all I got on this one. It needs some work. This will be a slow going project, but I think it could be one that's worth doing. So just let me know what you think. Make a comment below. Till next time, practice your skills, turn them into craftsmanship. If you've already got craftsmanship, see how far it'll take you. You never know where you'll end up with it. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. This has been Fab Race Mod Repeat. It's got good rims on it. This one's leaking like a sieve, or has leaked at some point. Nobody cleaned it. But it's still got plenty of fluid in it. And I know the rear seal's leaking because you can see the moisture and the drip down around the bottom. Matter of fact, I haven't pulled the dipstick on the engine. Let's see what it looks like. Oh yeah, it's good and black. But that's not unusual on these because they don't have a full flow oil system. It's got this nifty little front bumper that's been made for it, and I use the term nifty loosely, but somebody cobbled up a front bumper for it at some point and really didn't do too bad of a job. Now another thing that I thought was really cool about this tractor is the toolbox is still in here, and it's still got the little tang on it. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. I guess I can't zoom. I'm playing with the GoPro 7 right this minute while I'm doing this. But it's still got the little toolbox in it. Now, unfortunately, none of the original Ford tools are in here. Now, here's an original drawbar pin. You can tell by this little end. That's a Ford drawbar pin. But the lid is still on the toolbox, as is the little lock hasp. And the red belly red is still on top of the toolbox. So that was kind of cool. Bottom of the box is rusted out. And you could buy a replacement box, but again, maybe that'll be another good project. We'll rebuild it. And even though the hood is popped off of the rivets, which is typical, the hinge is still here and it's still in good shape. So this hood, as rough as it is repairable, and it is a Ford stamped hood. And as best I can tell, let me get my flashlight out here. I haven't looked at the tank yet. The tank's in really good shape. So that's a good sign. And I'm going to say by the coating on it that is an original gas tank. So I'm pretty sure this thing was still in use until recent years. And it just didn't get no love. It was very utilitarian. It was used utilitarian.